Hi everyone, and this is our last activity of the day today, focusing on life skills. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to revisit our indoor safety signs that we learned about yesterday in our life skills video. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to read each of these safety signs on the board, and then I will introduce the worksheet that we will be completing together. So as I say each of these safety signs, you will repeat back after me. So we have flammable, so that means that an object or a piece of clothing item can catch on fire easily. Food, so normally we see signs for food on the highway, which would be on a blue sign, or food indicating like in the mall where the food court would be. We have guide dogs allowed, meaning that sometimes when you enter a specific type of business or a doctor's office or the market, these dogs help people who are visually impaired, so people that cannot really see well, and they're basically their eyes for them. Then we have hard hat area, and that means that normally you would see this on a construction site where people would be wearing a hard hat. Sometimes the hard hats are in white or yellow or even orange. Then we have in, out, and those are signs that you would see posted on the door, meaning you can either go in that door or out that door. They're used both ways. Then we have in case of fire, use stairs. So most likely you would see this sign next to a staircase in a building that has multiple floors on it. And remember that if there ever was a fire, just like when we're in school, we find the nearest stairway to exit out safely, and we do not take the elevator. Then we have no food or drink. These signs are mostly posted out of maybe furniture stores or a store that sells really expensive items, just meaning that if you have food or drink, it has to be left outside before you can enter in. Then we have keep out, and this sign you might see on an area where they could be doing construction or a piece of land that's trying to be bought, or even sometimes on if people own a lot of land, they don't want any trespassers going on their land. Then we have men, but most specifically the bathroom sign for men, and then no alcohol or drugs. So normally we do not see this sign around here, but it can be present depending on the area that you go to. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take out our circle the word indoor signs, and there's two sides to it. Our first one says indoor signs numbers 11 through 15, and then the back of it says indoor signs numbers 16 through 20. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to find the sheet in your packet. And if you need a little bit of extra time, you can pause the video here so you can get it out. Remember, we're working with indoor signs 11 through 15 on one side, and then indoor signs 16 through 20 on the other. So we're first going to start off with the indoor signs numbers 11 through 15. So there is a spot where it says name, so first and last, and then you can put today's date, which today would be April 21st, 2020. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the words, and these words are the same words that we just went over on the board, and then you're going to circle the sign that completes the word. Remember, a lot of the signs have that word in it. So you want to look for the sign that represents that word, or might even have that word in it. So what I would do is I'm going to read the first 5 over here, and I'm going to have you circle the sign that completes it. Then we'll go on the back and we'll do the exact same thing. Then I will go over the correct answers. So materials that you are going to need for this is a pencil, so you can write your name and the date, and then also to circle the sign. Then at the end you would need the correcting tool. So a marker, a crayon, a colored pencil, so you can correct your work. So starting off with the first one, flammable. I want you to circle the sign that shows flammable. Number 2, food. I want you to circle the sign that indicates that there is food. Number 3, guide dogs allowed. you're going to circle the sign that represents dogs allowed. Then the fourth one is hard hat area. You're going to circle one of these signs that represents hard hat area. Keep in mind that a lot of the signs have these words in it, so you want to look for the ones that are the same. And then in and out, you're going to circle the sign that represents in and out. Okay? So each one of these should have one sign circled. One sign that represents flammable, one sign that represents food, a sign that represents guide dogs allowed, a sign that represents the hard hat area, and a sign that represents in and out. If you need extra time on this page, you can pause the video, and then when you're ready, you can press play again, because we are now going to turn over and work with the last 5 signs. Now I switched it up a little bit on the back. What I did was I actually showed you the sign, and I'm going to read what you think that sign would represent. You're going to circle the word. So I switched it up a little bit on the back. So let's look at sign number 1. Do you think sign number 1 represents in case of fire, use stairs, keep out, or men? You're going to circle your answer. Sign number 2, do you think it represents no alcohol or drugs, men, or no food or drinks? You're going to circle the one that represents that sign. Sign number 3, do you think it represents keep out, in case of fire, use stairs, or no alcohol or drugs? Sign number 4, do you think it represents in case of fire, use stairs, no food or drinks, or men? And then sign number 5, do you think it represents in case of fire, use stairs, no alcohol or drugs, or keep out? Again, so for the first one, you're going to represent the words that represent the sign for this. You're going to circle the words that represent the sign for the second one. Circle the words that represent the sign for the third. You're going to circle the words that represent the sign for the fourth. And then you're going to circle the words that represent the sign for the 5th one. Remember, if you need extra time, pause the video so you can complete your work, because we're going to go over our answers now. So now is the time where you're going to need your correcting tool. A marker, a crayon, a colored pencil, a pen. Remember, if you got your answer right, I want you to put your check. If you didn't, I want you to put an X, and I want you to circle the one that's correct, so then we understand that we are correcting our mistakes and learning from our mistakes. So number 1, flammable. You're going to make sure that you circle the second sign. The second sign represents flammable. Food. The third sign represents food. As you see, it has food and then a fork and a knife, indicating that that is a place where food is going to be served. The third one, guide dogs allowed. The first sign represents that, and there's a picture of a dog there. The fourth one, hard hat area, it's the second sign. It has the words hard hat area and a person wearing a hard hat. And then the 5th one, in and out, it's going to be the third sign. It has the word in with an arrow and out with an arrow. Flipping our paper over to correct the last 5. So the first sign over here represents there's a hand, and that means to keep out. It's telling, basically, the hand is alerting you to stop, like do not move forward. You're keeping out of that area. Over here, sign number 2, it's going to be no food or drinks. As you see, there's a picture of a hamburger with a cup and a straw, and then the big not arrow. That means that no food or drinks is allowed. Sign number 3, it's going to be in case of fire, use stairs. So as you see, there's a person going down the stairs, and then there's a fire in the back. So it's indicating you need to use the stairs because it's a fire. fourth sign is going to be for men. Okay, that's also men. Could be the bathroom sign, and it also has the handicap sign indicating that it is handicap accessible for men. And then the last one is no alcohol or drugs. That is a picture of an alcoholic beverage and drugs with a not sign in it. So remember, those that are correct, you're putting the check. If you didn't get it correct, I want you to circle the correct answer so we learn from our mistakes today. And the last thing we're going to do is just repeat our 10 indoor safety signs that we worked with today. So as I say each sign, you will repeat back. Here we go. Flammable, food, guide dogs allowed, hard hat area, in, out, in case of fire, use stairs, no food or drink, keep out, men, no alcohol or drugs. So that is going to be it for today in our life skills, and it's going to bring us to the end of the day. Before we sign off for the end of the day, there is CNN 10 student news for you guys to watch to keep up with current events. I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you back tomorrow.